95% of people who lose weight will gain it back within 1 to 5 years. And most people will say the reason why they gained it back is because they lost motivation. But if you ask the 5% who beat the odds and have kept the weight off for years and years, how many days they wake up motivated to go to the gym and eat healthy, they'd tell you it's a rarity. If you're new here, I'm Audrey, and I have helped over 2,500 women lose fat and build muscle without ever needing to revisit outdated diets and restrictive weight loss programs. After helping so many women, I can tell you the secret isn't motivation, it's strategy. What got you to lose the weight isn't what is going to help you to keep it off. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what you need to do to be in that 5% who actually maintains their results long term. So 6 years ago, I lost 40 pounds and I've maintained that weight loss. But here's the thing. I tracked my food, I ate in a calorie deficit, I worked out 6 days a week in the gym, and I did a lot of cardio to lose the weight. But I've maintained the weight loss without tracking my food or living in a calorie deficit or spending more than 4 hours per week in the gym. That's it. So what changed? My strategy changed. And that's what I want to share with you today. The 3-phase method called the Metabolic Makeover Method that finally allowed me to maintain a fit and toned body that I feel very confident in. See, the biggest mistake I see women make is they think they need to stay in fat loss mode forever. They're terrified that if they stop restricting their calories, they're going to gain all the weight back. So they attempt to stay in a fat loss focused phase forever. And unfortunately, instead of losing more body fat and actually getting that toned and defined look they're after, their metabolism slows down, their relationship with food worsens, their hormones tank, and they weren't even eating enough to begin with to actually build muscle and get the toned look. This is exactly what I did wrong when I first lost the weight. I thought if I wasn't always restricting my calories and spending hours in the gym, I wouldn't make progress. But what actually happened was my metabolism adapted. I was constantly fatigued and the scale wouldn't budge no matter how hard I tried. I actually even lost my period for 2.5 years. Yeah. This is the exact place that my clients find themselves in as well. Maybe not losing their period for 2.5 years, but a lot of the alarm signals in their body going off. And after taking them through the Metabolic Makeover Method, I'm here to share with you that 90% of them have kept the weight off and feel better than ever. See, fat loss isn't something that you are supposed to pursue year round. When you attempt to live in a place of chronic calorie restriction, it will eventually backfire. Most women notice their period becomes irregular, disappears altogether like mine did, their hair starts thinning, they're constantly cold, their energy tanks, and they develop an unhealthy obsession with food. Your body is smart and it's designed for survival. When you're chronically under eating, your body starts shutting down non-essential functions to conserve energy. Your metabolism slows, your hormones get out of whack, and now weight loss feels even more impossible. We're not meant to constantly eat little calories. This is why so many women get stuck in this cycle where they're eating less and less, doing more and more cardio, but they're not seeing any results. They're actually working against their body instead of with it. When we talk about how to approach a fat loss phase, it's best to get in and out. And that's part of what we do inside of the Metabolic Makeover Method. So like I said, it's 3 phases. Phase 1 is fat loss acceleration. Phase 2 is metabolic priming, where we're focused on building muscle to get the toned look. And phase 3 is lifestyle integration, where we lock in the results to maintain the body and habits for good. This is how you keep your metabolism healthy and your hormones stable long term. So let's get into what the 3 phases entail. Phase 1 is just as simple as it sounds. We're tackling fat loss through a good old calorie deficit, where you're burning more calories than you're consuming a day if you aren't familiar with what a calorie deficit is. Fat loss only happens when you are in a calorie deficit. So keto, intermittent fasting, Whole30, they only work because it does one thing. It gets you to eat less calories overall. When my client Stephanie got started with us, she swore her metabolism was broken because despite eating in a calorie deficit, or so she thought, her weight wouldn't budge. The problem wasn't a broken metabolism, it was that her plan wasn't truly designed for her needs. Once we corrected her calorie intake, gave her an effective strength training plan, and added some healthy lifestyle habits all together in a package, the fat started melting off and she was finally ready for phase 2. Phase 2 is where we restore your calorie intake and prime your body and metabolism. If you have watched any of my content on Instagram or here on YouTube, you know I am anti-bullshit. This isn't where we wave a magic wand and give you some metabolism potion filled with fake promises. This is a science-backed strategy and it's called reverse dieting. This is the game changer that most women never hear about. Essentially, after you lose weight through being in a calorie deficit, you slowly and strategically increase your calories back up to a sustainable maintenance. Here's how it works. Let's say right now you're eating 1,400 calories to lose weight. Instead of immediately jumping back up to 2,000 calories like most do, you slowly add back 50 or 100 calories per week while monitoring your weight, how you feel, how your body responds. So basically this allows your metabolism to adapt upward instead of downward. You're giving your body time to restore hormone levels, increase your energy, and build lean muscle to get the toned look. The goal is to eat as many calories as possible while maintaining your weight or within a range. For me, this meant going from eating around 1,300 calories during my fat loss phase to eating around 2,200 calories at maintenance. My client Christine is also a prime example of what's possible in the priming phase. She came to us eating 1,200 calories, and even though she was doing everything right on paper, her progress was stagnant. Even after hiring other coaches, nothing seemed to work. But through her fat loss phase, she successfully lost 20 pounds. And in a matter of just 2 months, we increased her calories from 1,200 all the way up to 1,950 without gaining any of the weight back. But here's the thing, this requires a complete mental shift. You have to trust the process even when your brain is telling you to go back to restricting. This is where most people panic and go right back to their old restrictive habits. But if you want to be that 5% who actually keeps the weight off long term, you have to play the long game. The last phase is arguably the most important when the goal is to keep the weight off. Now it's time to solidify your results and integrate this as a full lifestyle with full certainty the weight will never come back on. In the lifestyle integration phase, you slowly step away from tracking your food because nobody wants to do that forever. Define your 3 non-negotiables and lock in on the identity of being the woman who stays lean year round. That is key. This is where you transition from someone who's on a plan to someone who just lives a healthy lifestyle. You're no longer white knuckling your way through meal plans or workout programs. Instead, you've developed intuitive habits that feel natural and sustainable. Your 3 non-negotiables might be things like having protein with every meal, getting your steps in daily, or doing a certain amount of strength training workouts per week. These become your default habits that you fall back on even during your busiest and most stressful days. The identity shift is crucial here. You stop thinking, I'm trying to lose weight, and start thinking, I am someone who takes care of my body. You're not depriving yourself, you are honoring yourself. When you go out to eat, you naturally gravitate toward the lean protein options, not because you have to, but because that's just who you are now. This phase is about proving to yourself that you can maintain these results without obsessing over every calorie or living in fear of the scale. It's about building unshakable confidence that this is your new normal and that the weight isn't coming back because you've fundamentally changed who you are and how you live. And look, if you're skeptical, thinking this still won't work because you've tried it all, that is exactly what every single one of the women we work with said before starting with us too. Whether it's a 70-hour work week, high cortisol, PCOS, traveling every month, or slow metabolism, we have seen it all, and we've overcome it all through the Metabolic Makeover Method. Even for myself now, 6 years later, I am maintaining this physique, and I don't track my food. I travel monthly. I strength train only 3 to 4 times per week, and I do 0 cardio outside of walking. If you want to be in that 5% who actually keeps the weight off, you need to understand that what got you to lose the weight isn't what will help you to keep it off. You need a strategy for transitioning out of your fat loss phase and into maintenance. This isn't about motivation. It is about having the right plan and the right support system to execute on that plan. If you're a woman who has lost weight before but struggled to keep it off, or if you're currently in a fat loss phase and you want to make sure you don't become part of that 95% statistic by having an expert coach in your corner to remove the guesswork and thinking for you, then check out the link in the description to book a complimentary strategy call where we can talk about where you're at, what your goals are, and map out a sustainable plan for you long term. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.